This house makes me $5,000 a month in cash flow. However, most real estate investors at first glance wouldn't think this is a sexy deal at all. And actually, they would think this is a totally dead deal. Everybody knows you could rent out a property. However, there's tons of different ways to get way more than regular rent. Obviously, people know of a whole bunch of short-term rentals like Airbnb and VRBO, but there's another strategy I use that's even better that very few people know about and even less people implement. This can literally 5x your rental rate. It's less risky and more consistent. This strategy is turning your house into a rooming home. A rooming home is a home that you take and you add a whole bunch of other rooms, make every single room in the house a bedroom, and you rent them out to different people that rent it out by the room. Now, before you get too excited and turn your house into a rooming home, let me give you the most important criteria to make this happen. Number one, stay away from homes in an HOA neighborhood. A lot of times some HOAs are very picky and all the homeowners and HOA presidents and board members are gonna stay on top of you and complain if you have too much parking or too many people at one house, and they might complain to the city. Number two, find homes that are near bus lines and public transportation. The reason why finding a place near public transportation is so important, you're gonna have 10 people living at this house and there's not gonna be enough parking all the time, so you wanna have a lot of people that live there that don't have cars. So this leads me into rule number three. You wanna find a house that you can have a lot of parking at. You wanna make sure that if it doesn't have a lot of parking in the actual driveway or carport, that you have enough street parking so plenty of people can park cars there. The more cars that are available to be parking there, the more you can charge rent and the more people you can have stay there. And the less the neighbors will complain that there's too many cars in the area. So rule number four is to target rental neighborhoods. I always look at all the other houses in the neighborhood and see if they're owned by LLCs, if they're owned by private people. The ones that I see have a lot of LLCs in that neighborhood, I know are probably rentals, and I know that no one's gonna complain and it's gonna be very easy to blend in. That's very important for me. So rule number five, I look for homes that have a lot of extra space. I look for homes that have basements, split level, garages I could turn into rooms, carports I could close in and turn into rooms. I look for homes that have big living rooms, big dining rooms, all kinds of other space, bonus rooms. That way I could turn these all into bedrooms and have a lot more revenue coming in. I also look for homes that have multiple bathrooms. If you have a home that fits all these criteria, I guarantee you it's gonna be a great fit to become a rooming home. One of the most common questions I get all the time is, do you have a lot of problems with tenants? So the answer is no, I have very little problems with tenants. I have a lot of rules in place that keep the problems to a minimum. Here are some of the rules that I have. So the first rule I have is it's only for single people. You can't have roommates and you can't have boyfriends and girlfriends and all that other stuff. There's a lot of reasons why that's important, but obviously if you have girlfriends and boyfriends and roommates in your room, you're gonna need more parking for cars, you're gonna be sharing more bathrooms. It's just gonna make the place very congested. So the next rule kind of piggybacks off the last rule, which goes without saying is, but you can't have pets. Pets will make the house all smelly, it'll cause a lot of noise, it'll cause people to have all kinds of problems. Some people are allergic to pets, some people don't like pets, they can get into other people's stuff and destroy the house. Rule number three, all my homes either are all male or all female. I don't like to mix males and females, although I do know a lot of people that do that, but what I've noticed is when I mix males and females, there's a lot more problems in the house. It's hard to get them to share bathrooms and there's all kinds of weird stuff that happens. Rule number four is I try to keep a really good bathroom to bedroom ratio so I don't have a whole lot of people fighting to use the bathrooms. Ideally, you want to have one bathroom for every 3 bedrooms, but you can get away with one bathroom up to every 4 bedrooms. Rule number five, I don't want to have any common areas. So I don't want people hanging out at the house. I want people in the room or out of the house. The more areas where people can hang out and do stuff, it's just going to cause more trouble. Rule number six, I have a property manager for every single house. Usually they live in the house and I give them a discounted rent for managing the property for me and collecting the weekly rent. And then since I have so many rooming homes, I have one like district manager, you can say, that manages all the property managers of every single rooming home in those cities. So rule number 7, like I just kind of hinted in rule number 6, is I collect rent every single week. I don't do monthly rents. The reason why I do weekly rents is because nobody can fall behind too far. So if someone's like a week or 2 behind, they're not owing us that much money, and it's easier to get them out before they owe us way too much money. And rule number 8, Every single room has to have a smoke detector, and on top of that, there's no smoking or electric heaters allowed in any of my rooming homes. There's many reasons why this is important. Safety is very, very important. There's so many people living there that I want to make sure that nobody has any problems with fires and stuff like that. But on top of that, I don't want anything smelling or disturbing other people that are living there. Now let me tell you why rooming homes are so much better than Airbnb, VRBO, or any regular type rental. Number one, there's a lot less vacancy. I literally have waiting lists of people to get into all my rooming homes. It's so rare that I have vacancies. I'm like 95% plus occupied almost all year round. The reason why is there's such a need for affordable housing, and this is the most affordable housing that there is out there, and people need it bad. Number two, even when you have vacancies, you're still making a ton of money. Now keep in mind, my average rooming home might have 10 rooms. So let's just say 1 or 2 or even 3 or more are empty. I still have 7, 8 or more occupied. And literally I only have to have 4 occupied or less to really cash flow and make money. So the odds of me not making money is almost impossible. With an Airbnb and VRBO, if it's empty, you're making no money on it. With a rental, if it's empty, you're making no money on it. With rooming homes, you're always making money. Reason number 3, there's a lot less restrictions, especially with government agencies that are trying to shut down Airbnb. So most rules that I see is you can't have short-term rentals, which are counted as rentals that are under 30 days. Well, guess what? All my rooming homes start at 31 days. So it bypasses all the laws of being under 30 days and being a short-term rental. So just to clarify, when you move in, I sign a 31-day lease with you, and after that, it goes week to week. But as long as the first 31 days start, you're guaranteed to be there at least 31 days. The average person that comes and stays in one of my rooming homes stays for over 11 months. So even though it turns into week to week, it's almost like they're there a full year. I have some people in some of my rooming homes that have been there for almost a decade now. And the fourth reason why it's so good, you get a much higher rental rate. Like literally, I get 5 times to 10 times more than I would as a regular rental, and I get 2 to 3 times more than I would as an Airbnb. So reason number 5, it's a lot cheaper to manage. There's actually a website that I use a lot called PadSplit. That's just like an Airbnb website that rents out all your houses by the room. They charge way less than Airbnb. So on top of PadSplit actually running your properties, they have management companies they can refer to you that can manage them all for you so you don't have to do anything yourself. So now I'm gonna take you through a property I recently did this with that cash flows me over $5,000 a month. So I just purchased this house for $242,000. I got the owner to finance $200,000 and I had to come up with $42,000 to pay him. My all-in payment to them is $1,800 a month for 11 years, which is pretty much almost all principal. So in 11 years, I'm gonna own this house free and clear. So this house actually was used as a rooming home before, and it already had 7 bedrooms in place, but I added 4 more bedrooms to shared space, so now I have 11 bedrooms in this property. So to do all this work and convert it into 11 bedrooms, I spent about $30,000 on the rehab and adding furniture to every single room. So every rooming home I have, I put furniture in every single room, including mini refrigerators, and make it very comfortable so they don't have to use any shared space because I don't have any shared space besides the bathrooms and a small little kitchen area. So with all the money I had to put down and all the renovations and furniture, I actually got a private money lender to loan me that money, and it cost me about $550 a month to pay them in interest until I pay them off. So all in, I'm into this house for about $2,400 a month. So the monthly rental rate for this property is about $2,300 a month. I could never buy this home and use it as a rental because I wouldn't make any money on it. However, as a rooming home, this makes a ton of money. It's a cash cow. So let me explain. My average room in this particular property is about $800 a month. I have 11 rooms, so I'm getting $8,800 a month in rent. So here's the basic math on this house. I get $8,800 a month in rent. My all-in cost is $2,400 that we just went through. I add another $1,000 on there for vacancy, repairs, insurance, and other miscellaneous things that come up. So after all this leaves me with a $5,400 cash flow without using any of my money. And in 11 years, I'm gonna own this house free and clear. So if you love this video, and I know you did, make sure you comment on other videos you wanna see me make, like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and make sure you watch this video up here that teaches you all the different exit strategies I've used in the past and that you should use going forward.